Hello, my name is Crazy Owl, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you a tutorial on how to add shapes to your builds, because it really does make a difference. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, but other than that, let's get right into the video. For this video, I'm going to be using a pretty simple and common block palette, just yellow terracotta for the roofs, oak wood for the walls, black stained glass for the windows, and then a combination of stone, brick, stone, and cobblestone for some of the other walls, and then spruce and stuff for outlines and borders. And our beginning shape, we're going to have two different houses using the same build strategies except with different shapes, and that'll help show you what difference it makes. And it's actually pretty simple to add shape to your builds. So this one over here is just going to be a pretty simple rectangle. But on this one, I added some yellow shapes sticking out. So this one has a part on this side, and another one on this side. And in a one-story house, this is what difference it makes. So first of all, one of the big differences is there's a lot more block variation in the walls because there are more chances to create block variation. And in this one, you could make one wall oak and one wall cobblestone, but it wouldn't look very realistic. And in this one, with all the parts sticking out, you can make those a different block. And that already looks a lot better. But another type of shape variation you can add is height variation. So for both of these, I just made the orange rectangle taller. But for this one, because there were other parts to stay low, it looks a lot more interesting. And yes, there's still this side, which has nothing on it, but you can see the other parts poking out of the side, so it still looks interesting. And for this one, if you are building just a rectangular home, I would suggest making it taller so that you can add more block variation, but it's still not very interesting. And this is what they look like after adding windows and doors, and to be honest, this one still doesn't look that terrible, especially with a little depth, but this one looks exponentially better, and there's a lot more detail, and it looks a lot more like a house. And then the final one is what it would look like if it was complete. And a few things you'll notice is that I did add bushes, and I also added a little garden. And when you look at the little garden on this house, it kind of sticks out and interrupts the house and doesn't look quite as welcoming. But this one kind of looks like it belongs there because it fits in the edge of the house that kind of curves around. Also, when you add the bushes, there's a lot more places where the bushes kind of fit in this one. You can kind of put them in the corners, and it looks like bushes would actually grow there. Meanwhile, on this one, they kind of stick out of the walls and look a little bit interruptive. The final thing that I noticed is that you actually have a lot more space inside, even if you're not adding that much. So this one, there's like a table that sits two people, maybe a small kitchen, some chairs, and upstairs there's one bedroom, and the upstairs is the same for both houses because even on the other house I only continued the main rectangle up, but the downstairs has a lot more space on this one, and because of that I'm able to create a dining area that's separate from the kitchen and a complete living room, and I still have extra space to put this little shelf thing. And upstairs, obviously, it looks the same, but I feel like the staircase is a lot less intrusive on this house as well. Like, it doesn't look like it's in the way. And the door is on a part that sticks out, which kind of adds interest to the doorway. So, as you can probably tell, the shape of a build definitely affects the way it looks, and I personally think adding shape, even just a tiny bit, will definitely make your build look a lot better. And as I said before, it's not super complicated. It only takes a couple seconds to add the planned out shapes to this build, and maybe you can use the same base shape for two builds and make them look completely different just by adding different shapes. For example, you could do this, and maybe this one goes out 4 blocks and is wider, and then it completely looks like a different build. I mean, they're definitely still similar, but maybe you add a little shape over here as well, and then now you have two completely different builds with the same base shape, and that's also a good way to make smaller builds look less similar, because if you build 3 tiny square houses, they're all going to look the same. But if you add little shapes to them, they can look completely different, even if they're the exact same size and exact same base shape. But that is going to be it for today's short video. I really hope it helps, and if you enjoyed this video, again, please consider liking and subscribing. I hope you have a great day, and see you in the next one.